Hello, and welcome to a brand new video and a brand new channel. We are everything EFL Championship, League One, League Two, all the reviews, all the previews of every weekend games. This video right here is the first video on this channel. So guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button because you're all going to be new here. Make sure you hit that like button on this video. I really would appreciate it. And guys, comment down below on what team you support. I'm a massive Luton fan. Really would be interesting to see who you guys support. And also what you think the predictions are. As you can tell by the title of this video, I'm doing a championship prediction on what I think the results will be this weekend for game week 21. We've got the first game up this weekend. We have West Bromwich Albion versus Sheffield United. This is going to be a very interesting game. Both teams should be sort of competing better than where they are right now. But if you look at the table and where they both are, I think they'll both be quite disappointed where they are right now, with currently Sheffield United sitting 17th with West Brom just one place above them in 16th. The last 5 games that they've played, they're going to be very different and how they feel, with Sheffield United not losing in the last 5 games. So this could be a tell on the way that Sheffield United are going. To me, it's the only way is up. And in West Brom, again, they've lost the last 2 games. Really disappointing season for them so far. So personally, I can only see one winner of this game. If you look back at the last 2 results they have had, Sheffield United drew 1-1 with Norwich at home. You could say that's quite a disappointing result for Sheffield United. Norwich are really not there this season. But Sheffield United got a point. That's fine. West Brom lost 3-2 away to Southampton. I think they will be very, very disappointed with that. Southampton, again, are very similar to Sheffield United right now. They're pushing up the table. We'll discuss them in a bit. But yeah, I think there's only one winner of this game, personally, in my opinion. I think Mason is under a bit of pressure at West Brom. So it really could go either way, this one. I really am tied, but I think Sheffield United are going to continue their good run at the minute, and I think this is going to end up 2-1 to Sheffield United with that away win. We then move on to the 12:30 kickoffs on Saturday. We have 3 12:30 kickoffs happening. The first one of the 12:30 kickoffs that we will be talking about is Norwich City versus Southampton. With Norwich currently sitting 23rd in the table, something that I did not think we would be discussing at this part of the season. With Southampton picking up some really good points recently, they've won 2 on the bounce now, so they're really looking to put more sort of emphasis and really trying to push up that table and get better results out there. Norwich have not won in 2. They drew their last game, like we've just discussed. They're really inconsistent. They really are in a bit of a dire place right now. So I personally can't see anything else but a Southampton win here, if I'm honest. I think Southampton are going to win this 3-1. And I think that is how our first early kickoff will go, with Southampton winning 3-1 away to Norwich. Then move on to our second game of the 12:30 kickoffs. We have Oxford United versus Preston North End. Preston flying at the minute, 5th in the league. They've drawn the last 2 games. They're unbeaten in 4. I think they're on a really good run at the minute. They're just, again, a consistent team that are really trying to push for playoffs, which would be fantastic for them. And then you've got someone like Oxford, who drew their last game, but again, the inconsistencies of them, they get some really good points at home. They've beaten some really good teams. As of note, the last big team they beat at home was Ipswich 2-1 a few weeks ago on a Friday night. So I think it's not going to be an easy game for Preston. I really don't think it will be. So I am going to go with a 1-1 draw. Oxford United 1, Preston 1. We then move on to our third and final 12:30 kickoff game, which is Stoke City versus Swansea City. Swansea City, again, they're currently sitting 18th in the table, really not pushed on like I think they think they should be. They've won the last 2 games though, so they've definitely got a bit of momentum going forward. But 2 wins out of 5, I think, is going to be a difficult tell, especially when they're playing a Stoke City side that have been very consistent this year. Although they have lost the last 3 games, I think this could be a very, very telling game again. Swansea, if they get a decent result here, can really push them up a little bit and get them closer to the pact, pushing for the playoff positions. Whereas if Stoke lose here, I think it could be a bit of a difficult time. That would be 4 losses in 5 if they lose here. So I think they've Stoke City have got, what, 4 losses out of the 5 last games. I think if you've got to put money on someone that is going to be pushing forward and should be getting a decent result here, you've got to go for Swansea. I think Swansea have the ascendancy, but again, it is at Stoke. I think Stoke will bounce back here personally. I know Swansea have won the last 2, but I think Stoke City will win this game 2-0. We then move on to the 3 o'clock kickoffs. Our first game of the 3 o'clock kickoffs, we have Birmingham City versus Chalton Athletic. Now, this game I think is personally only going to go one way. One team is going one way, the other team is going the other way. You've got Birmingham City, who are trying to work their way up the table, and unfortunately, you've got Charlton Athletic, who are working their way down the table. I'm very surprised with Chalton. The way they started, they were just a fantastic start to the season under Nathan Jones, and it was a typical Nathan Jones start. Being a Luton fan, I would know that. But it's just come a bit unstuck recently. 5 losses out of 5. I think that's not a good look for Chalton right now, and I can't see it getting any better with going away to Birmingham. I know Birmingham have lost the last 2, but they've got 3 wins out of 2. They've got 3 wins out of the last 5. I know the last 2 have been losses, but I'll be honest with you, being at home, they're only 3 points out of 6th place. A win could really put them back up it, whereas Charlton Athletic, I think, unfortunately for them, I think they're just going back down one way at the minute. I can't see it getting any better, and I can't see this being the week that they then move on and improve and try and get a bounce back win. So personally, I think Birmingham City are going to win this game. I think Birmingham City will win this game 3-1 at home against Charlton Athletic. We then move on to our next 3 o'clock game, which is Coventry City versus Bristol City. Now, this game will be a great game. Coventry City are flying. What a job Lampard is doing at the minute. It's just incredible. Only 2 losses the whole season so far, with 13 wins and 5 draws. They're scoring goals for fun. They're the highest scoring team in the championship so far this year. Their last 2 games have been a bit of a blip for them, but one, again, was against Ipswich, where they lost 3-0, and then they drew in midweek 1-1, which is not a bad result, but in all terms of the game against Preston had 1 sent off. I think realistically, Coventry City for the whole second half were playing with a man extra. They should have gone on to win that. Preston could be so proud of themselves getting a result there at home. I think, it's just Coventry, I think, are going to be a little bit too strong for Bristol City, in my opinion. Bristol City have been declining a little bit in the league. They started off really well, very similar to Chalton. They started off very well, pushing playoffs, looking to get into the automatic positions, but then they've really dropped off the last sort of month or so. They've won 2 out of the last 5 games, which isn't very different to Coventry, with Coventry winning 3 out of the last 5 games. But I can just see Coventry, they're free-flowing, a very high-scoring team. I can't see anything else but a Coventry win, if I'm honest, especially with Coventry being at home. I think Coventry are going to win that game 2-0. The next 3 o'clock game we have is Leicester City versus Ipswich Town. Now, this is, for me, probably going to be the game of the day. I know there's 2 other games after this one that we will discuss in a sec. I think this is going to be the game of the day, personally. Leicester City, another team that have really been disappointing this year, another team that you would expect and the fans would expect to be at least in the playoff position. They're currently sitting 13th. They've won 2 of the last 5 games against an Ipswich team who are currently sitting 4th, who won their last 2 games. Won 3 out of the last 5. There are just, I think, Ipswich Town are on the way up. I think there's only, again, one way they're going. I think they've had a bit of their blip, but I think they're going to be pushing for the automatic promotion spots throughout this season, and I will come to see that at the end of this season for sure. But Leicester City, it depends what side Leicester City turn up with. If they turn up with that sort of, right, let's actually do this, let's go for it, there's no reason why they can't win at home. I just think Leicester City would be very disappointed where they are. But again, they're only 3 points out of the playoffs. There's no reason, if Leicester go and win this, they could be up around the playoffs straight away. And this is a game that you would look at the start of the season as a Leicester fan and an Ipswich fan and go, that's going to be a game that's going to be sort of a massive 6-pointer to get into the automatics or playoffs and get us back in the Premier League. So unfortunately for Leicester, it's not that at the minute. Well, it could be if they win. So I think this is going to be a great game. I think this could be the game of the day. And I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw, because I think that is the kind of game it will be. So I think, yeah, Leicester City 2, Ipswich 2, I think that'd be the game of the day for me. We then move on to the other game of the day for me. I think this could be up there with the Leicester City Ipswich game, is the Middlesbrough Queen's Park Rangers game. This game, I think, could be a great, great game. Again, like I said, could be the game of the day. Middlesbrough currently sitting in second, having won 3 of the last 5 games. I don't think they can moan at that, considering what they've been through this season, but we won't go on to that. You've then got Queen's Park Rangers, who are currently sitting in 7th. This could be a really, really, really good game. Again, it could be up there with game of the day with the Leicester Ipswich game. Middlesbrough at home, it really, this genuinely could go either way. I really don't know. Middlesbrough, I would probably say, are more edging it for me, if I'm honest, having won 3 of the last sort of 5 games, or 3 of the last, well, they've won their last 3 games. Queen's Park Rangers have won two their last 2 games. Both teams are coming in with this in top form. So I'm going to go out there and say this will end Middlesbrough 2, Queen's Park Rangers 1. I think that is how that game is going to go. We then move on to the other 3 o'clock kickoff. We have Millwall versus Hull City. I know I've gone over the last 2 games of being games of the day, but again, this could be another game of the day for me, with Millwall currently sitting in 3rd position, Hull City sitting in 6th. This could be a cracking game. It really could be. I think Millwall, having won 3 out of the last 5 and drawing a loss, they are on a very good course to sort of stay in the playoffs, potentially push Middlesbrough. They really could. Middlesbrough, if they slip up, Millwall are a point behind them. I think it really could be a tight top 2, definitely. I think Coventry, personally, are a bit too far away now. But Hull City, again, they're 31 points. They're only 4 points behind Millwall. If Hull City get a result away, they're only a point behind Millwall and really pushing, again, to be comfortable in that playoff positions. This again is going to be a really tough game to predict. Hull City have had a bit of a mixed sort of recent form, having won 2 of the last 5 games. They won the last one, they lost, then they won, then they lost the last 2. So I think it's going to be a tough game. Personally, I think Millwall have got a bit too much being at home going into this. They're more of an informed team. So I'm going to say for this game, I think Millwall will walk away with the win, and I think it'll be a comfortable 2-0 win for Millwall. We then move on to another 3 o'clock kickoff, which is Portsmouth versus Blackburn. Unfortunately, I don't think I've got the same thing to say about the last 3 games here. Both teams are desperate for a win. They really are desperate. But I think Portsmouth will have a bit more of an incentive to get a result here, especially being at home. I think there really is an incentive to sort of push on and win this game and get their season back on track. They've lost the last 3 games. They've lost 4 out of the last 5. It's been a disappointing sort of first half of the season for Portsmouth. Whereas Blackburn, again, they really haven't been sort of the position where they should be, really. Blackburn, especially when Luton were in the Championship, Blackburn, one of them teams that you always feared to go to because they were always there or thereabouts in the playoffs. They're now sitting 20th with Portsmouth sitting 22nd. This game is vitally important for both teams here, because if Portsmouth get a result, they're only, 2 points behind Blackburn in 20th. If Blackburn get the 3 points away, then they really do push on past sort of away from Portsmouth. That I know we're still early really in the season, but they're getting that bit of a gap away from the relegation zone. I think there's more for Portsmouth as an incentive here to win. So for that reason, I know Blackburn have drawn the last 3 games, but they've not got a win in the last 4 games. So they've won 1 out of 5 games. I think personally, Portsmouth being at home, yes, they're not a massive scorers. They concede a fair amount, but I think Portsmouth are going to walk away with a snatch and grab home win here with a 1-0 win against Blackburn Rovers. We then move on to our last 3 o'clock kickoff, which is Wrexham versus Watford. One of them games that is going to be a mid-table clash. I think it's a typical mid-table battle that is who will finish above each other at the end of the season. And I think it'll be like that when the reverse fixture hits as well. Being at Wrexham they lost the last game. They drew the 2 before that. Then they had a win. So they've not won in 3. Whereas Watford have had a very, very inconsistent season so far. Drew the last game, lost the game before that. They drew the last game, won the game before that, and then lost the game before that. I think Watford fans would be quite disappointed with that. Sheffield Wednesday led through most of that game, with Watford getting an equaliser quite late. So I think I think, if I'm all honestly, I think Wrexham are going to be a bit too strong for Watford here in this last 3 o'clock kickoff on Saturday. I think Wrexham are going to win 3-1 against Watford. And then the last game of the weekend, if you want to call it the weekend, is Monday night at 8 o'clock. We have Sheffield Wednesday versus Derby County. Sheffield Wednesday, really, I do feel for them, I do. But what a fantastic result midweek against Watford away, getting a 1-1 draw there. I know they led most of it, so they probably feel disappointed they didn't actually go on and win it. But to get a draw there, I think they've got to be so proud of themselves. Inevitably, they will be going down. They really can't be getting out of that, because Oxford currently are sitting on 19 points out of the relegation zone. That's a 20 gap difference. No, it's not. It's a 30 gap difference. Sorry, my apologies. My maths wasn't mathing. It's a 30-point difference. Now, that's too much for anyone at Christmas. So I think, unfortunately, Sheffield Wednesday will be going down, but you just hope the players haven't resigned to that and just sort of give up, because they clearly haven't, which is great. But then they're coming up against the Derby side, who have been very inconsistent. They've not won in 3. They've drawn 1 and lost 2. So it's going to be a tough game. And I think, being at home, Sheffield Wednesday, they got a great result, like I say, away to Watford. I can see this ending in a draw, but I think Sheffield Wednesday will get something out of the game. So I'm going to say I think Sheffield Wednesday will finish that game, and it'll be 1-1. So there's a preview for this weekend's games, guys. If you've enjoyed this video and it's the first video on this channel, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe if you're new around here. And keep an eye out for more videos. We have League 1 and League 2 coming out shortly today. And yeah, guys, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one.